These were clips of activists throwing tomato soup at Vincent van Gogh's sunflowers paintings to draw attention to the climate issue, which made headlines and sparked debate about the protest method. And don't worry, the paintings were actually protected by glass. But have you ever wondered about the meaning behind these paintings? Or how did the artist feel when he painted them? Because actually, there's a story behind them. And since I'll be painting my own sunflower today, I decided to read more about it. But little did I know that I would spend hours exploring more about this amazing flower. From Greek mythology to science and tons of facts and stories about it. So I'll summarize hours of research for you in this video. And believe me, it's worth it. But first, let me welcome you to my channel. Today I'll be painting my oil painting titled Sunflower by the Window. And I will share with you the stories, myths, and facts related to sunflowers. So come enjoy listening while you watch this painting come to life. The story of Van Gogh's sunflowers. Let's start by talking about Vincent van Gogh's paintings. These iconic sunflower paintings, which hold great value today, were not seen that way during the artist's lifetime. Actually, one of the things that makes these artworks special is the deep emotional journey Vincent went through while creating them. It was a time when he was at the peak of his optimism. Vincent van Gogh was a Dutch artist who moved to Paris in 1868, where he met other artists there and was influenced by Impressionism. He then moved to the city of Arles in southern France, where he dreamed of establishing what he called the Studio of the South, a place where artists could gather to paint, create, and share experiences in one space. Vincent's brother, Theo, who always supported him, rented a studio for him to make his dream a reality. And Vincent really believed in the success of this idea and wrote to his artist friends, inviting them to come and paint together. But no one responded to the call because the idea was uncertain and posed a risk for them. Only one artist decided to respond to Vincent, and that's his friend Paul Gauguin, who became the reason Van Gogh created some of his most beautiful and optimistic paintings. But he also became the reason Vincent cut off his left ear later. In fact, Paul agreed to come because Theo strongly persuaded him and offered to cover his living expenses in the city. So as we said, Theo always provided Vincent with financial and emotional support, believing in his talent, and he felt that having fellow artists around his brother would help him overcome his mental struggles and succeed in the field he loved. Paul was more popular than Vincent at that time, but both had great appreciation for each other's work. They also followed the same artistic movement, Impressionism, which solidified their friendship. As Paul was coming to visit Vincent to start their project, Vincent was so excited for his arrival. He looked at the room he had prepared for Paul and saw the empty walls, so he decided to fill them with beautiful paintings. So during his wait, he painted a subject that he always loved, sunflowers. When Paul arrived, he was very impressed with the paintings, even asking to keep one for himself. He also painted Vincent while he was painting sunflowers, and called this piece the Painter of Sunflowers. They spent joyful time painting together, creating portraits of each other, and going to cafes to discuss art. A very peaceful and creative time. So when sounds of fighting rose from Vincent's house, and then people saw him coming out with his left side of his face covered in blood, they were shocked. What was even more shocking was that Vincent walked as if nothing happened and then gave his ear to a woman he knew. It is said that the woman fainted from the sight. Probably traumatized her, poor woman. So what happened? Vincent and Paul's harmony didn't last, as Paul kept criticizing Vincent's work, and the idea of bringing all artists together ultimately failed. And maybe it was the differences in their personalities or their artistic styles, or maybe the combination of Vincent's mental struggles with Paul's criticism, or another reason led to a very big fight between them that resulted in Paul deciding to leave Vincent and the city altogether. Vincent, seeing all his hopes shattered, fell into a devastating mental breakdown and cut off his left ear, or part of it. That was Vincent's first major mental breakdown, and things will only get worse after this. After a period when Vincent was filled with hope and happiness, unfortunately, he fell into a deep depression and later went to an asylum, where he painted his most famous work, Starry Night. By the way, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this theory. Some historians say that he didn't cut off his ear, but Paul did during the fight. Maybe Vincent had the tendency to avoid telling the truth when he was harmed by others. Like, there are theories suggesting that Vincent didn't choose to end his life, but rather that he was attacked by teenagers while he was painting in nature. And he chose not to tell about that. He then died in pain and poverty. Many years after his death, these paintings have become highly prized. One of the Sunflowers paintings sold $39 million in 1978. Vincent created 12 sunflower paintings in different stages of their life, including blooming flowers and others that had begun to wilt. This variety reflects his interest in the cycle of life and nature, showcasing his ability to express emotions through color and detail. Some say that part of the allure of these paintings lies in the feeling of contradiction that comes from standing before a vibrant, radiant artwork that evokes hope, while knowing that the person that created it suffered a lot. Sunflowers have inspired many artists throughout history, each painted them in their own way. They're often used to express hope and positivity. But did you know that sunflowers were also a symbol in old religious rituals? Sunflower in ancient American civilization. In Native American civilizations, they symbolized life, growth, and nourishment. For the Aztecs, sunflowers were linked to the god of war and to the sun. So they were used in rituals and celebrating of harvesting, for example. We can agree that the movement of these flowers must have fascinated people in ancient times, making them want to figure out the reason for their behavior. In fact, this leads us to a beautiful love story that I'll share with you now, and it comes from Greek mythology. The story of sunflowers in Greek mythology. There was a beautiful young woman named Clytie, and despite having 3,000 sisters, she kinda felt lonely. Clytie wasn't an ordinary girl. She and her sisters were water nymphs, and their father was the god who controlled the water. Being a water nymph connected her deeply with the water and nature. She loved to observe her surroundings and feel the warmth spreading in the morning. So one day, while gazing at the sky, she finally saw the famous sun god, Helios, driving a golden chariot pulled by 4 powerful horses across the sky in a magical scene. It was the most beautiful thing her eyes had ever seen. Helios traveled across the sky every day, from sunrise to sunset, and this time she felt that he knew she was watching him, as she caught a glimpse of his face looking at her with admiration. Clytie froze in her place, with her heart beating. She felt a feeling that she had never experienced before. Is this love? She asked herself. She realized that she couldn't stop thinking about Helios and longed to be closer to him. So could he possibly love her back? This was Clytie's wish, unaware that this love would ultimately lead to her death. In truth, Helios had indeed loved her, and in the days that followed, their relationship deepened, and they genuinely loved one another. However, as we know, happiness doesn't last long in Greek mythology, because at that moment, there was also someone very angry, seeking revenge against Helios, and that's Aphrodite, the goddess of beauty. Aphrodite was having an affair with Ares, the god of war, despite being married to the god of craftsmanship. For a time, they successfully kept their relationship a secret from everyone, but not from Helios. Being the sun god meant that he could see everywhere the sun's rays touched, and nothing could be hidden from him during the day. So, yes, he saw them one day and was shocked by what he witnessed. He immediately decided to tell her husband, who set a trap for them and exposed their affair to the other gods. And it's not like her husband and Helios had perfect morals, they did bad things too. But back to our story. So after that, Aphrodite was sad and also very angry. So when she heard that Helios was in love, she wanted to ruin this relationship and destroy it. She cast a spell on him to make him forget his love for Clytie, and instead fell in love with another woman. And that's the Princess Lucutia, daughter of the Persian king Orchamos. And in an instant, Helios forgot his love for Clytie and fell in love with the princess. But Clytie had no idea about the spell. All she saw was her beloved suddenly transformed, obsessively in love with another woman. Her world turned upside down, and she experienced feelings she had never felt before. Not the beautiful emotions of love she once had, this time she felt terrible. The fires of jealousy ignited in Clytie's heart, and nothing could stop it. But she will never forgive herself for what she did next. Clytie wanted to separate Helios from the princess at any cost, believing that this would bring him back to her. So she went to Lucretia's father. Entering his place, she felt nervous, sensing that he could tell that she had bad news. She told him that his daughter is in a forbidden relationship with the sun god. Moments of silence followed, as she regretted her words and looked down, asking herself if he knew if it was a lie. She glanced around, but he was gone. The impact of Clytie's words was fatal. King Orchamos, blinded by rage, did not give his daughter a chance to speak or explain anything, and he committed a heinous act. He buried her alive. And Helios was not there to save her, and when he returned and learned of what happened, he cried and was devastated. And to immortalize her memory, he transformed her into a beautiful tree. Clytie watched this unfold with so much regret. She decided to punish herself by not eating or drinking, and she sat still in one place, doing only one thing, looking at the sky and watching Helios travel from east to west and back again. She remained in this state for a long time, until what was expected happened. Clytie died in the spot she had never left. And out of compassion, the gods transformed her into a beautiful sunflower that follows the sun, just as Clytie had done in her life. So what do you think of this story? There are many versions of this story, but they all agree that the flower falls in love with the sun. I found it interesting how people have created interpretations of nature. I believe it reveals aspects of the human soul more than just explaining the movement of the flowers. Don't you think so? Now, do you really know the scientific reason behind the movement of the flowers? Sunflowers facts. Sunflowers move daily from east to west to follow the sun's path, a phenomenon known as heliotropism. And if this name sounds familiar, it came from the sun god that we mentioned in our story. And that's not limited to sunflowers. There are other types that exhibit this behavior as well. These plants have special cells that detect light, and when sunlight shines on it, the plant makes a hormone that causes it to grow on one side only, and this makes the plant bend towards the sun. The plant keeps doing this all day to follow the sun, and once the flower matures, it stops moving and settles on the direction of the east. Small flowers rotate more quickly, but as they grow, their ability to move with the sun diminishes. Sunflowers are amazing not just because the way they move, but also because how their seeds are arranged. The seeds follow a special pattern known as Fibonacci sequence, also known as the golden ratio. This ratio is like a perfect balance. It's found in many things in nature, like the way leaves grow on a stem, or the shape of a seashell. You can also see it in art, architecture, and even in space, in the arrangement of planets and galaxies. It shows how beautifully balanced nature is. Sunflower seeds are not only beautiful, but also very good for you. They have vitamin E, which helps keeps your skin healthy. And this is just an example, as there are many other benefits. Now let's have a quick quiz. How tall do you think the sunflower can grow? Can it be as tall as a person, a bus, or even a building? The answer is a building. Believe it or not, the tallest sunflower recorded was in 2014, reaching about 9.17 meters, around 30 feet, which is as tall as a small building. Do you also know that there are many types of sunflowers that came in different sizes and shapes, but also different colors? You can find them in shades like pink, orange, and red. So, which color do you like best? The final result. I'm putting final touches here as I am finishing the painting, and I'll show you the final result now. So, here is the final result. What do you think? From ancient times to the present day, sunflowers have charmed people across the globe with their beauty and usefulness. I believe that sunflowers convey a feeling of hope and positivity, which is why I painted it today. I wanted to remind myself and those around me, and also remind you, that we can be like sunflowers, always reaching for the light. Even if we can't change our location or circumstances, we can change the direction in which we look. It is said that if you gift someone sunflowers, or decorate your home with images or paintings of sunflowers, just like Vincent did to welcome his friend, you are trying to bring optimism to the space and wish success and happiness for that person. If you would like to have a piece of this positive energy with you, tell me in the comments if you would like me to offer prints of my painting. And finally, if you enjoyed and benefited from this video, please give it a like to encourage me to create more like it, and subscribe to the channel to see the new videos I'll be uploading, which I hope you will enjoy too. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video in the comments, and I welcome your suggestions as well. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful and positive day. Bye!